Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva. Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva. Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Sarvakareshu Sarvada. So, whom did we just pray? Just raise your hand so I know. Okay, let me see. 3 people raise hands. So I'm going to pray ini, mini, mini, mo. So I'll go alphabetically. Adya, you alphabetically. Go
Lord
ahead, Adya.
Ganesh.
Lord Ganesh. So this is Lord Ganesh we prayed, right? And this is a very powerful shlok. And whenever we start anything new, we pray, we use this shlok. So what is the meaning of this shlok? So let me explain that. Some of you may know. So it's a Vakratund Mahakaya. What is Vakratund? So Ganesh ji looks like what?
An elephant.
It looks
Elephant headed.
like
Sir, he looks like a person with an elephant snout, sir.
it looks like his face looks like an elephant. So many people even say that he's an elephant god. Actually, we shouldn't be saying that he's not an elephant god. It looks like that, right? So if my face looks like a monkey, are you going to call me a monkey? Please don't do that, right? So that is how it looks like.
So
And that whole
actually, his face got cut, so he had to put a elephant's face.
so he's a plastic surgery. You know, a long time ago there was a lot of development in science. So sometimes our ear get cut in an accident or something, so they put a new ear. So that time they could not find a human's face. So they had to put whatever face they could find, and they could find elephant's face and put on him. So he is really not an elephant. Looks like an elephant because of an accident or something happened. That's a long story. We'll not go into that story today. Unless you want, we can talk about the story. So it looks like elephant. So if somebody says, oh, is Ganesh your elephant god? We should very politely say that no, he's not elephant god. He's a god, human, looks like us. Only thing that something happened and his head had to be replaced. And the only substitution at that they could find, then they replaced by an elephant face. So Vakratunda Mahakaya means what? That means it's the elephant face, so is the trunk. And that trunk is not very straight, it's curved. So Vakra means curved. So in geometry, when we learn geometry in high school, there's a subject called geometry, right? Even in elementary school, I think. So in geometry, what do we learn? Tell me. Now we'll do some mathematics. What is geometry? Or raise hand now. This time, new person. Let me ask Anjane. I'm going alphabetically. Anjane, what is geometry?
The mathematics related to the shape, to shapes and things like that.
Mathematics related with shapes, sizes, right? So the easiest concept in geometry, we start with a point, right? Which doesn't have length, doesn't have width, doesn't have height. So I learned geometry a long time ago, 60 years ago. And I'm trying to remember, so I may be making a mistake. So correct me. And then from point, we talk about line, right? So which has length, but doesn't have width or height. And the line, we talk about 2 types of line, like straight line and curved line. Is that true? They still the geometry is same or they change it? So his trunk is like a line, but like a straight, not a straight line, like curved line. So we define in this shlok, Lord Ganesh has a trunk which is curved. So many of our prayers, when we pray to God or a particular deity like Bhagwan Ram, Krishna, Ganesh ji, Shiv ji, Sita Mata, many others. So all these scholars or sages who've written this, they have described them by their physical appearance, by their qualities, by their virtues. That's how they have described them. So this is how they describe. So he looks like he has a trunk which is curved. There's Vakratunda, Mahakaya. Kaya comes from Kaya. Kaya means body, right? So Maha is big, always like, right? Maha is great, big, huge. So Vakratunda Mahakaya, his body is huge, right? Not he's a trunk which is curved, and he has a huge, very big body, right? You know, he's a big fat man. We shouldn't be saying that, but big fat man, right? Huge body. So two description: trunk which is curved, body which is huge. Surya Koti Samaprabha. Surya is, what is Surya? Yeah, Aisha, your turn now.
Sun.
Aisha. Surya is sun, right? Surya is sun. So when you wake up in the morning, you see sun in the sky. So third quality is he has Surya Koti. Koti means crore. Crore, you can say millions. So he has something which millions of sun put together would have. Sama Prabha. Prabha means what? Or Prabha. Like what the sun gives us? The light,
Light.
the splendor, right? So he has got that light of millions and millions of suns. So that is third quality of his. So he's a source of huge light, delights our life. So Vakratunda Mahakaya Suri Kodi Samaprabha. Somebody who has got a trunk which is curved, somebody who has got a huge body. So first two descriptions are more of a physical. Third is about his aura. Wow, what is aura? Millions of suns don't have that much aura as he alone has. And the next line is, now we pray to him. No nirvignam kurme deva. Hey Dev, hey Lord, please do kuru me, please do mine. Sarvakareshu, my all work or all deeds that I want to do. Please help me. Nirvignam. So they are accomplished without any vigna, without any obstacles. So we pray to Lord Ganesh that whatever I'm going to do today, whatever I'm going to do now, please help me so that there is no obstacles. So my path becomes very smooth. So that's why anytime we do anything new, any project, any venture, any journey, anything, there's a tradition in our culture to pray Lord Ganesh because we seek his blessings that our whatever project I'm going to take, please help that there's no obstacles. Now, why is this shlok very relevant this week? So who didn't speak today yet? You both spoke. Nah, somebody new. Some new person who's not spoken today. Why Ganesh is so important this week? Looking for a new face. Ishan, you want to say?
Sir, he has been celebrated since 10 days because he is the god. He is the son of Shivji, and he is a really powerful god, one of the most
But
powerful.
why this week? Yes, Adya.
Sir, because it's his birthday.
Sir, it's Ganesh Chaturthi. It is
There was
fast.
Ganesh Chaturthi. We all celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi just when? When was it? Just 2-3 days ago, right?
Yes,
I think
sir.
it was on Friday, right? Friday. So just 2 days ago, it was Ganesh Chaturthi. Ganesh Chaturthi means it's the fourth day of month, this particular month, Bhadrapad Shukla Paksha. And we don't have to go into that detail of, and this is his birthday. So it is celebrated and it's called Ganesh Chaturthi. And the celebration goes for many days, And one place, Ganesh ji is worshipped with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and is where in India? In India, where is just there you said, right? Who anybody else?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. If you go to Mumbai, it'll go crazy, so much. Every home there will be they will install little Ganesh or big Ganesh, depending upon whatever. They can, if communities will have their Ganesh Sthapna, so they will install what's called Ganesh Sthapna. They'll pray for somewhere they'll pray 3 days, some 5 days, some 7 days, some 11 days, different traditions are there. So every day they'll pray, they'll get together, and on the 11th day or 7th day or whatever day their tradition is, they will do his Visarjan. So they will take Ganeshji's, that Murti, to a source of water, and that will immerse him. So the Ganeshji is this particular month or this particular week is a very important month or week. Okay, so we have a little quick lesson on Ganeshji. Even in Ramayana, in Tulsidas' Ramayana, when he starts, there is a prayer. Very first sloka is a prayer of Ganeshji. Naturally, because that I'm going to write this Ramcharitmanas. So, hey Ganeshji, please help me. The very first prayer is to Ganeshji. Of course, we didn't go over that, but today we talk about it. So, do you have any question on Ganeshji? Anybody have any question on Ganeshji? Yes.
Sir, why do we celebrate Ganesha Chaturthi for 10 days?
Okay. So why do we celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi for 10 days? Anybody has any idea?
Sir, can I say why do we do that?
No, what are you saying, beta? Vedansh?
I was saying that can I say
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please, sure, go ahead. Yeah.
that why do we keep Ganeshji in our house for 10 days?
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
So that as long we keep them in our house, he would be inside our house for those many days.
Okay. Very good. Anybody has any other answer? Yeah.
I'm not sure about it, but I've heard that Lord Kartikeya invited Ganeshji to his house. So he stayed there for like those many days, and then he uh, departed, and Lord Kartikeya went to bid him goodbye. So I guess that is the reason.
Okay. Well, so very good. I also really don't know. It's a very good question, but I don't have the, honestly speaking, I admitted to you last week or in the last class. If I don't have the answer, I will tell you I don't have the answer. So I really don't know what is the correct answer. But I'll make a guess. A lot of these things are traditions. They just get established. Some person, some wise man, some sage, or some elder in the home will say, okay, let's have Ganesh Sthapana and we'll pay him for 10 days or 9 days or 5 days. So tradition gets established and people follow that. So a lot of such, these are rituals. So these rituals get established because somebody 200 years ago, 500 years ago, we don't even know the history, I don't know the history. Such traditions are established. A lot of such things we do in our homes, in different homes do things differently. This is because that's how things got established in their homes for generations. So why in some home 5 days, why in some home 10 days, why in some home 2 days? Because of the different traditions. Why Ganesh is worshipped with such enthusiasm in Maharashtra, but not in Uttar Pradesh? Because some traditions got established a long time ago, like Durga Puja in Bengal, right? So with so much fervor, enthusiasm, and excitement in Bengal, but not in Punjab, right? So this is how a lot of traditions get established. So very nice. I think we had a good, interesting discussion on Ganesh. So when we learn about this Ramayana class, we'll talk about other things as they are relevant. But our goal is to learn about our culture, our values, our Sanskriti, and to demystify some misconceptions, like Ganesh is an elephant god. It's not elephant god. He's a face which looks like Hanumanji. Even I have seen temple priests, at least in America, they'll say, oh, Hanumanji is a monkey god. That's very wrong thing to say. Hanumanji is not a monkey. Okay. Then people will say, oh, he's a monkey. They'll drop the word god. So, elephant, Ganesh is an elephant. They'll drop the word god. That's very misleading. So, Hanumanji.
I have a doubt, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like this, if we can call it like Ganeshji is like the god of elephants, but he isn't. So, is Shivji actually the god of snakes, sir?
No, Shivji is not, no, Ganesh is not god of elephants. See, Ganesh is a god. If I do a little bit of Hindi lesson here, Ganesh is a god plus Ish. So is a god or Ish or Lord of Gana. So Gana were all the army and the groups of Shivaji. So Ganesh has nothing to do with elephants. So he's not a lot of elephants. I'm glad you asked that question, Ishan. That clarified that. So like Shivaji has nothing to do with as a lot of Shiva, a lot of snakes, excuse me. So he has snake all over his body, right? But not because he's a lot of snakes. It's nothing like that. So that's good. It's good. And so a lot of snakes, if we say, we will see later on, is Sheshnag, which is, Lakshmanaji is incarnation of Sheshnag. So I think we probably might have talked last time. So when we talked about Bhagwan Ram's birth last time and the purpose behind it, remember? So those of you who could not come to last class, I have sent you YouTube video on the WhatsApp group. So please go over and see that video. And even if those of you came and you want to review what we did last class, see that. So Ram is incarnation of Bhagwan Vishnu, and the Sheshnag took form of Lord Lakshman or Lakshman Bhaiya or Lakshman brother. So that is how it is. So it's a very good question. So that cleared some of our misunderstanding, right? Okay. Any other question? Yeah.
Sir, it's related to Lord Vishnu actually. The question is that we know he had this 10 avatars that we say. So I mean the 10 avatars that he had. So can we see any part of evolution in them? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. You obviously have heard about it. That's why you're asking this question. So very, very quickly we'll talk about that. So we believe it in Hindu culture or Sanatan culture. A lot of times we use the word mythology, right? That many of, anyway, you will see a lot of books written by a lot of learned people. They will say book on Hindi mythology. I personally don't like that word mythology. Mythology means myth. Myth means fake, right? So then we say all this is fake. So I don't prefer that. Personally, I don't prefer that word. So Vishnu took different forms depending upon the need of the time, right? So what was the earliest incarnation? What was the form of that? The very first incarnation. You can all Google it, not right now, and you can find all 10, actually 9 incarnation. 10th is yet to happen. So the very first is the primitive form of a fish, right? It's called Matsya Avatar. Matsya means fish. So the fish, you can say, in a very primitive form of life, right? And then from that it advances, and the last avatar that, well, the 8th avatar is Lord Krishna, and before that 7th is Ram, and before that we'll spend all the time, then we'll spend a whole hour in that. So after Krishna, 9th avatar, there is a little bit of disagreement among scholars. Some people believe that Buddha, Buddha is the 9th avatar. Some don't believe into it. So we don't want to get into that argument, because then when scholars argue, we'll rather keep out of it. But widely believed Bhagwan Buddha, Gautam Buddha is the 9th avatar. But some really don't believe that he is the 9th avatar. They say 9th avatar is Balarama, brother of Krishna. But that's a different debatable point. So as we progress from fish to a boar, and then a Vaman avatar. Vaman avatar is when he's a human form, but it's like a very dwarf, maybe 6-inch tall. That's about it. It's total, I don't know, 6-inch, I made it up. So, and then he's form of Parashuram avatar, which is a human being, but a very angry human being, doesn't have control of everything. Vaman avatar, we have Narsingh avatar, which is a half human being and half lion. So evolving, through that. That's the evolution process. And Krishna is, the perfect avatar, with everything. So this is, so some people do relate it with that evolution process, where that modern science theory is Darwinian principle, right? So you started your life with virus and bacteria, and now you are taking back me to my high school days when I learned this kind of stuff. And then it became, how human being or Homo sapiens evolved, right? Is a Homo sapiens is the right word? You
Yes,
guys
sir.
all know
Homo
this.
sapien.
Yeah. So now, when I learned these things, I learned these things 55 years ago, and after that, I've never seen these words. So thank you for educating me now. So yes. So people try to connect that, yes, this theory of incarnations is very consistent with the modern scientific theory of evolution. Very good, good question. I want you to know one of the rules of the class is that in chat box, you write your name and your roll number, right? So that, this is like attendance, I'm taking your attendance. So let me see if anybody new today who did not come to class last time?
Sir, me.
Aisha, who, Namami? Is that your name?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Can't keep your video on, or is there a bandwidth issue?
Sir, it's network issue. I was once removed for the class because of network.
Okay, that's fine. So those of you who can try to keep your video on, but if you have a net issue or bandwidth issue, that's not a problem. So welcome, Namami. Who else has come first time today? There's somebody else I saw.
Sir, I am from first time. I am first time here.
Okay, Beta. What's your name, Beta?
Jeno. Jeno.
Jeno. Okay, very good. Welcome, Beta. And who else is your first time? So,
Sir,
Jeno,
Parth Gupta.
Parth. Okay, your first time. Very good. Welcome. So, Parth, where are you in India? Ranchi.
Sir, in Jharkhand, Ranchi.
Ranchi. Okay. And Jeno, where are you, Beta?
I am in Mumbai, Dombivli.
Mumbai. Okay, very good. So let me see. Everybody else was there last time. Okay. So every time, please, whenever you just log in the chat, you just write your name and roll number. And if you don't have roll number, I will send you. I think, Jeno, you may not have a roll number. Do you? Okay. All right. Very good. Let's just move on now. So last time when we were discussing about Ramayana, we talked about what is Ramayana. And
Sir,
I was go ahead, Jen.
Sir, my roll number is 115.
Oh, you are there. Okay, very nice. So, okay, wonderful. Thank you. So last time we talked about what is Ramayana. So in the next class I might ask one of you, okay, give me a summary of what we discussed last time. So you should be ready. Summary means just 5 minutes summary, not long summary, short, just short. But today I will not ask because we've already spent some time on discussing Lord Ganesha, which is important. So we talked about what is Ramayana, and then we went over Lord's incarnation as son of Dashrath and King Dashrath and Queen Kaushalya, and other brothers, 4 brothers, their chronological order, and other 2 queens and other 2 mothers, Sumitra and Keke. And then last 5 minutes, we discussed about why did he take birth in human form, right? So there is a purpose. And I left this question to you to think about it, about yourself. Why did you have come here? Why did you, Vedansh, have taken human form? Adya, why you taken form? Me, why I taken form? There must be purpose. And if we know that purpose, then, we can work towards that in our life. Yes, Ashwat, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead, beta.
So, zero was invented in around 3rd BC. Okay. So how Rams know Ravan have 10 heads?
Okay. So no, but what is the connection between the 0 and 10? This question around, is there?
No, sir. Without 0, 10 was never invented.
Oh, so how did, okay. So how do we know the number 10? Yeah. Okay, Aisha, go ahead.
Sir, actually, before the number 10 was invented, like the number 0 was invented, people used to talk like, let's say I want to refer to something, I have 10 in number. For example, I have 10 pens. Rather than saying they have 10 pens because 0 did not exist, they would say I have 9 plus 1 pens.
Okay.
So they would talk like that. And by the way, they are gods. So most probably they did know zeros.
So I know this is a very good question. You are challenging me, and I'm getting nervous now. Don't ask me such tough questions. So now 0 is invented 2,300 years ago, right? Something like that. That's what we're saying. But when we look at our scriptures are much older. Now, even when did Ram happen? I think we probably did touch this last time. There's a lot of scholars have a lot of different opinions. One of the opinions is that this happened about 7,000 years ago, right? But I'm not going to bet my life on it. That some will say it happened, so many million years ago, or whatever. So those days, now we see things like they had some weapons. They were just in today's language. If we say if you watch some of these videos on Ramayana, Mahabharata, so they will literally download their weapons, right? They will do some mantra and then the weapon will download. Now today we download, but we can't download weapon yet. Thanks God for that, Otherwise, all these terrorists will download weapons, they will read some mantra and then suddenly a missile will download it. So maybe, those days, maybe, if this is all true, and we do believe it's all true, if this is all true, that they can just download weapons, they did not carry all these weapons with them, right? But if they needed a weapon, they'll just close their eyes and use some mantra, which in today's language, like using a password, right? Security code, right? When we want to download something, you go to then you put the security code, and then you can hack somebody's account, right? So we can download things from net by knowing the correct username, password, whatever security codes we need. So they could download even the physical things, right? Right now we cannot download anything physical. We can't download a weapon, or you can just download that today I want to eat malai kofta malai or something, and to then suddenly that thing is downloaded. That will be so nice, right? So mommy doesn't have to cook anything. She'll download all the good food. They could do that. So possibly one answer is that by that time, all this science and mathematics was already way developed and advanced. And maybe during the course of time, somehow, somewhere we lost all that. So this could be one of the explanations. So maybe we can say 0 was invented 400 years ago, but it was already known several thousand years ago. This, not just this, much more than that. But something happened during that interim period, and all that got lost. And then this could have been one of the possible reasons. But it's a very good question, and it can apply to a lot of things that we see now, and we see much more advanced things, that happened during those days, right? Okay. So now let's just move on a little bit. So 4 brothers, they're born about same in age, maybe a difference of few days or few weeks. Again, those details are not there, but that's not important. And we did talk last week. The oldest brother is Ram. The next is Lakshman, right? They're all nodding head. Next is Lakshman.
I think
Who
this
is
is
next?
Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, then
Ram
Shatrughan.
Bharat. Yeah,
Lakshman.
I was just
Sir,
checking whether
Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughan.
I was just checking whether you paid my attention to my last class. So it's Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughan in that order. And between Bharat and Lakshman, a lot of people get mixed up. So we don't want to get mixed up. We are in Ramayana class. So Ram and then Bharat and then Lakshman and Shatrughan. But it so happened that, all the four brothers, sometimes you just hang out with one more than other. It happens in our families also. But now the families are small, so you probably don't have three siblings. You probably have one or two. Right? But if you have 4 or 5 brothers, like when I grew up, we were 5 brothers and sisters. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. So sometimes you are more. I don't want to use the word close, but you kind of hang out with one more than the other. It just happens. It's not like a planned thing. It happens. So Ram and Lakshman were hanging out together. In today's language, if I use that, and Bharat and Shatrughan will hang out together. This generally they became close to each other. So usual things happened. The day came when they were named. That's how they got the name. The guru was called to name them. Those their children name. Now we use Google. What are the 10 names, and we pick one. And when a time came that it's time for them to go to school, so their parents or King Dashrath sent them to Guru to his home for education. Those days, it was all residential schooling. So you have to go to a dormitory or hostel, and that's where basically in today's time we go to a hostel or dorm, residential programs, and kids just stay there, and in vacation they come home. So those days they just went to their guru's home, where they stayed, they studied, they learned not only math, science, they learned how to live life, how to do other things in life. And they just stayed there until they finished their school. They did not come home for vacation. They didn't have vacation. So you go to school, you get their admission, and the teachers will teach them, treat those students like his or her own children. Many times gurus were just single. Many times gurus were like family. They have their own wives. A guru sisters was married. He has his own wife and probably their own children, and they got education there. So 4 brothers went there, got their education. And once they finished their education, they came to Dashrath. They got graduated from the college, and they were back to Ayodhya. So by that time, they were teenagers, like 14, 15, 16 years old. Now, Ramcharitmanas doesn't specify all these dates and age and things like that. Some other scriptures do, but that is also not very important for understanding Ramayana. So they were like teenagers and somewhat grown up, educated young boys. Now, in ordinary times, what would have happened? That in due course of time, Dashrath would have retired. That I'm already so old and I need to retire. And as the tradition was, he would have named his eldest son as the king, right? And then Ram would have ruled forever, or whatever period he would have lived. Then this story would have never been written. This is there were hundreds and thousands of kings. They had sons, and the eldest son became king, and then his son became king, and his son became king. Those stories are not written. Who cares for all that? But that did not happen. That did not happen. That's why we read Ramayana. So when it was about time, when probably Ram was thinking, King Dashrath was thinking about that maybe I should think about retiring, something interesting happens. The story takes a tremendous turn right here. So now we go far away in forest where there was a sage, a rishi, a muni, who used to live. His name was Vishwamitra. What did I say his name was? Just Ayati. Ayati, go ahead.
Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra. So it's a Vishwamitra, but when use our this American British English accent, we end up saying Vishwamitra. But it's not really Vishwamitra, it's Vishwamitra. Just like Ram, we end up saying Rama. Or Krishna, we end up saying Krishna, but it's already not Krishna, it's Krishna. You know who was Krishna? With
It was one of the names of Draupadi.
Very excellent. Beautiful answer. So proud of you. Krishna is one of the names of Draupadi. But we say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Well, then we talk about not Draupadi, we talk about Krishna. So correctly, we should be saying Krishna. But then, maybe it sounds better when we chant that. Otherwise, we should be really saying Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. But we don't say that. We say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Sounds better. But we should know Krishna was a different person. She is Draupadi's another name. So Vishwamitra, really, Vishwamitra was a sage living in forest. So what does the word Vishwamitra or Vishwamitra mean? It's made of two words, Vishwa and Mitra, right? So who wants to say that? Anybody who's not spoken today yet? Adya is spoken. Anjane, go ahead. Let me ask you. Yeah, go ahead, Anjane.
The friend of the world.
So Vishwa is world. Thank you. Very good. Vishwa is world and Mitra is friend. So he has reached to that stage that he considers the entire world as his friend. That I don't have any enemies here. I have reached to that stage in my life. I'm a sage, I'm a rishi, everybody's my friend. Vishwamitra. This is one meaning of Vishwamitra. There are other meanings people make, but this is, I think, what is important. So Vishwamitra is somebody who considers that the whole world is friend. He doesn't have any enemy, he doesn't have any animosity with anybody. So what happened? So he has ashram, he has his own students and his, disciples. So what rishis do, they pray and they live a simple life. They go to the forest and whatever fruits and vegetables and things they will grow, and whatever they can find, they will eat that and pray to God. And that's about it. They didn't have any great needs in the life. But in that forest, Ravan, we'll talk more about Ravan as we move along. He has put some of his agents there, everywhere, all over the world, so that people won't do the right things. He wanted to do, people should not worship God, people should not be doing yajna, hava, nothing. So he has his agents there. And they were also demons, like Rakshasa. Agents of Ravan will not be, ordinary human being like us. So they would not let Vishwamitra perform his yajna quietly. So they will, whenever Vishwamitra and his students, his disciples, do some yajna or havan or prayers, they will come and disturb, right? They will kind of mischievous people. So they will causing a lot of destruction and damage. Now Vishwamitra has its own long story, and I would suggest if you can Google it, if your parents allow you that try to find about Vishwamitra, but will not go long story, and that's not there in Ramcharitmanas. It's the in great details are in other books. So he earlier used to be a king, a very powerful person, a lot of physical power, a lot of ammunition. He still has those ammunitions, a lot of weapons. But since he considers the whole world as his friends, he would not want to use his force with anyone. So although he was being harassed by all these demons, he would tolerate it, but not use weapons. So now he's wondering, what do I do? What do I do? I don't want to use my weapons. I have taken an oath, I have taken a vow that I will live a simple life, austere life. I will not do anything. I will not consider anybody as my enemy. But still there's a problem, right? What do I do? And these sages, very visionary. They could close their eyes and know what's going on in the world. So I was in deep meditation thinking, oh Lord, what do I do? And then he realizes the Lord has already appeared as in human form in Ayodhya as a son of Dashrath. Right? So that's wonderful. So let me go to King Dashrath and seek for help. We do that in our life also. Sometimes there are problems, and for some reason, either we don't have the capacity to handle. Most of the time, that's the situation. We don't have power to handle. We don't have strength to handle. So we take help, right? And there's nothing wrong. We should take help. So we can talk to our parents. They can help us. Sometimes when parents can't help, then we talk to our friends, relatives, and sometimes then we have to go to court or police, to help us, right? So if somebody is bullying us, and bullying the whole neighborhood, we go to complain to police that, this guy is there and he's harassing everybody in the community. He comes every day with a gun there and scares us and things like that. So go to police, nothing wrong with that. That is job of the police to take care of that situation. So Vishwamitra thought that I need to go to Dashrath and ask him that, please, help me. And the people who are harassing me is kind of beyond your control also. It's only the Ram, because he could realize that Ram is not just a prince. He's the incarnation of God. That's why he approached him. Why would he approach him? Until now, he never approached Dashrath. So see, this is the wisdom all of our sages have. So he was probably the first person to recognize. He has not even seen Ram in person physically, right? He could just imagine in his deep meditation that there is this young boy with name Ram, who is really not a young boy with name Ram. He is incarnation of God. So now my problem is solved. I'll go there and ask for help. So Vishwamitra, as soon as it came to his mind, okay, now I shouldn't be wasting any time. Jano, you have any question? Jano? Jano, do you have any question? Okay. So Vishwamitra just bought a ticket from United Airlines. No, he didn't buy a ticket from United Airlines. So he started those days, the only vehicle was, and particularly all these sages, they just walked. They did not even use whatever vehicle like chariot and all that stuff. So he started walking on foot and went to Ayodhya. Now, there's a river that flows in Ayodhya. You know what is the name of the river?
Saryu River.
Saryu River, right? So we went to Ayodhya and first he crossed Sari River. So he took baths in Sari River. It was a big tradition those days that before you go somebody's home, and usually most of the inhabitants were on the banks of the river. And that is, of course, well-established fact. Even today, most of the cities and towns are next to a river because that is source of water. Now, of course, due to technology, you don't have to have a river, but those are no technology, so if you have a source of river, a source of water in form of a river, then you develop, communities there. So that's how most of the large cities, even today, you see you talk about London or Delhi or Agra or what other cities here in US, New York. So there's so much of water around that. So a source of water. So the tradition used to be when you go to somebody's home, you first take a bath before you go there, or you go clean. After you've traveled so much, you are probably dirty and don't look very good. So first you took a bath in Saryu River, and cleaned himself and went to King's court. And the king asked him, of course, he welcomed him. He gave him a nice seat, that please have a seat here, and probably ordered some tea and coffee for him. No, I'm just joking on that. So, and then said, sir, welcome here. We are so honored you have come here. But please tell me, what can I do for you? I'll be so honored to be at service. Then what did Vishwamitra say to him? So what did Vishwamitra say to him? I'm going to ask those who are not speaking at all today. Let me see who is not speaking at all. Amy, you have any idea? Amy Saxena, Amya Saxena. I'm reading Amy. Amya Saxena. What do you think? Let's make a guess. What is that he might have asked Dashrath? When Dashrath asked him, that, sir, what can I do for you? What do you think Amya Vishwamitra might have told him? Just make a guess. Okay, while you're thinking, let me ask some other people.
You probably
Ira
asked
or
him
Ira?
to-
Ira, are you listening to me, beta?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do you think you might have asked?
What?
So when Dashrath said, Vishwamitra, that sir, tell me why you've come here, what can I do for you? What do you think you might have said? So we all need to pay attention to class, right? So Amya, did you come up with any answer?
He probably asked him to help him fight off the demons.
Yeah, very good. That's why I went. Fantastic. So he would have asked him that, look, I live under your kingdom. I'm a little bit far away, but there are all these demons, they don't let me do my job. So please help me. But is that all? That's very good. But is that all? And help me what? Yeah, Adya, go ahead.
He might have asked him to allow Ram to accompany him to the
Exactly.
forest.
They would have said, please help me. Then Dashrath was very excited. Oh, yeah, I'm coming now, or I'm sending my army. Don't worry. And no, not that fast, buddy. I don't want your army. If I wanted your army, I would have come here a long time ago, right? Or if I wanted your help, I would have come here a long time ago. I've come now. You do the right thing at the right time. See, there's a big lesson here, right? So there's a lesson here. When you ask help, keep two things in mind. Ask help from the right person who actually can help you. There's no point of asking help from person who either doesn't want to help you or doesn't have capacity to help. Some people want to help you, but they don't have the ability to help, right? And ask at the right time. So the timing is important. You ask at the wrong time, then that will not be work. So it was the right time that Lord Vishnu has incarnated, which probably Dashrath even doesn't know that is the form of that. So it's the right time. So I did help, but you want to come, but you're just too old a man now. So you can't do it. But he didn't say all that. I'm making that up. So he's like, no, I want to take Ram and Lakshman. He said, he wanted to take Lakshman also because he knew that these guys hang out together all the time. So if I take Ram alone, then maybe he will miss his brother. So let's take both of them. So 1 and 1 make 11, right? There is some proverb in Hindi. So let's take both of them so they will have time to hang out with each other so they won't get bored. So he asked both of them. But Dashrath was not too happy with that request because that would cause a separation from his son or his sons, which has never happened except when they went to school. Well, school, you have to go, so there was no choice. But this is unnecessary. I mean, I can say I have such a huge army. I myself can go, myself is a very big warrior and kill all those demons. So why this age is so crazy after taking just my sons? They're so young, they're just teenagers, they're 15, 16 years old. They don't have experience. They've learned all this in their school. They were taught all this archery and other warfare tactics and things like that. But still, they don't have experience. But Vishwamitra was adamant. Then no, nothing doing. Either you give me your sons or forget it. I'll go alone. So then the Guru Vasisht intervened. The Guru Vasisht, again, like a sage, very knowledgeable. He knows that Vishwamitra has not come there just to take his sons to kill demons. He has a bigger purpose, and we'll talk about that. He has much bigger purpose than carrying sons to kill demons. And that's why he has come. So the Vasisht ji explained to King Dashrath that, look, Dashrath, Vishwamitra wants your son, and he has a reason, much deeper reason. So you let them go, and everything will be all well. So persuade and agreed, let his sons go. So his son, whatever, we are a little slow, but it's not a problem. So he brings his sons, Ram and Lakshman both. Okay, now it's saying my internet connection is unstable. So if somehow I lose connection, then I think you consider class to be closed today. So he brings his sons, and the sons come to forest. And that is in Ramcharitmanas is the very first time Bhagwan Ram speaks something which is documented. He says, Nirbhay Jagya Karau Tum Bhai. These are the first words coming from Ram's mouth, if I can use that. That means it tells sage Vishwamitra that Nirbhay, be fearless. Bhaya is fear. Nirbhay is no fear, fearless. Be fearless. Nirbhay Jagya Karoda. Be fearless and do your yajna. So I will protect you. Go and start your yajna, and we are here. Don't worry, Nirbhay ki karo. This is a very powerful line in Ramcharitmanas. It gives a message not to Vishwamitra, to all of us. It tells us that be fearless. Be fearless. I'll protect you. Don't get afraid of these things. Whatever comes in life, I'm there. I'm your protector. Nirbhay. Very first word coming from Ram is Nirbhay. So Nirbhay. And then he also said that Nirbhay, okay, now you can say, oh, well, we can. Then all these terrorists also can say, oh, well, Ram has said, be Nirbhay, so we will be fearless and commit all the terrorism, right? But then there is a condition applied by Ram. Nirbhay Jagya Karo tu bhai. I'll protect you as long as you do yajna. And yajna means, broader meaning means do good things, right? Yajna doesn't necessarily mean just physical yajna. So when you do anything good, that's the yajna, right? So if you do a blood donation camp, for example, right? So if you do blood donation camp, that's yajna, because you collect blood and then use that blood to help out sick people who need that blood. That's yajna. So he say you do good deeds, do yajna, and then be fearless. But he is not saying to terrorists, do terrorist activities, kill innocent people, and I'll protect you. He's not saying that. He's saying that be fearless as long as you want to do good things in life. Yes, Medhansh, you have a question, comment?
No, sir. I just wanted to say something. That the thing which you are saying, that yajna means doing good work, it is also detailed in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, say about it. So this is the very first word from Ram. And then this sage, Vishwamitra and his disciples, get a lot of courage. They do yajna, and as usual, all these demons come. The mother of these demons is Tadaka. So she is the one who wants to cause disturbance first, and she is the one whom Ram shoots first. So the first demon that's killed, according to Ramcharitmanas, and whatever I say according to Ramcharitmanas, unless otherwise I explain to you, is killed by Ram's demon or demoness, if that's the right word, Tadaka. And there are two male demons there. One is Subahu, other is Marich. So then he kills Subahu. The Marich he doesn't kill. He shoots an arrow, and he shoots an arrow so strategically that he goes far and falls in Lanka. And Marich happens to be uncle of Ravana, maternal uncle, Mamaji, right? So when he goes there, then Ravana says, hey, I have deputed here to that place, and how come you came here? And you seem to be hurt here. There's some arrow on your body. He says, hey, look, Ravana, you are my nephew, but your time is over now. There's somebody else who is much more powerful. And he killed Tadka already. He killed Spav already. And he deliberately didn't kill and shot me. So I come all the way here. Basically, he did it intentionally, strategically, so I can tell you this message. So in a very subtle and a very indirect manner, way early, Bhagwan Ram sends a message to Ravana that either you correct yourself, improve yourself, give up all those bad tendencies, or else, or be ready, your time is over. So that notice has been given to Ravana a long, long time ago. It's not like Ram suddenly decides to kill him. Like we reach, I'm coming to you, give me 1 second. So like we know in nursing avatar, when Bhagwan takes avatar, he appears in form of a nursing, half human being and half lion. It doesn't give any notice to Hiranyakashipu. He comes and just kills him, period, right? There's no notice given. Here, a notice is given to Ravana a long, long time ago that, look, you have done enough of sins. Now, if you want to correct yourself, I will let you go. Otherwise, your time is up. So this is the yag is over of sages, and they become fearless. Now, from that point onwards, we will move in the next class. But Adya has a question, or anybody else has a question, we'll take those questions. Yes, Adya, what was your question or comment, whatever?
Sir, I have heard, please correct me if I'm wrong, that Marich was the one who turned himself into that Swarn Mrig, and Lord Ram went
Yeah, right.
after that.
So Mari's reference comes twice. Once is this which we talked today, and later on when Ravan decides to kidnap Sita, he approaches Marich that I need your help, and you have that mystical power to convert yourself into
So,
golden
sir,
deer.
my question was
Sure, go ahead.
that I mean, Marich was already struck by the arrow that, like, he was about to be killed by Lord Ram initially, and but he got a chance to save his life. But he did that mistake once more. Was it intentionally?
No, because no. See, then the second time he did not. So Ravan says you do this, then he tried to pursue Ravan. They don't even think about it. You know, if you want me to do that and I go there, he'll kill both of us. He'll kill me and you both. So he's so powerful. So I'm not going to cooperate with you. I'm not going to do that. Then Ravan says, okay, you don't want to cooperate. After all, you are my subject, right? So I'm the king here. So I'm going to kill you right now. So now he has to choose between these two, two bad decisions. One is get killed by Ravan, one option, or go with him and get killed by Ram. So guess what he would choose? So he made the wiser choice that I rather get killed by Ram than this Ravan. Then then there's no moksha. At least when Ram kills me, one I will have his darshan once more in my lifetime, and this time with some devotion bhakti. Last time I was just a demon, and now at least I'm still demon, but I have some bhakti for him, and then he will kill me, so I will get moksha. So that's why he made the choice. He didn't want to do it, but then Ram said, "Well, don't want to do it. I'll kill you right now. Here's my gun, and I'll shoot you down." So that's the reason he made that choice. Very nice. So very nice, a good class. Our time is up. So we generally it takes a couple of days, 2-3 days for YouTube to be ready. And once YouTube is ready, on this WhatsApp group, I'll post. So I want all of you to see the YouTube video. And if you have any question, post it on that so we can answer this question. So we are a little bit behind from our syllabus, but that's okay. Now in the next class, we will talk about Ahilya story and Ram's arrival in Janakpur. But before I close this class, let me tell you one more thing. So what was the bigger cause for which Vishwamitra brought Ram? I didn't mention that. His cause was not just to kill demons. His cause was with his action to expose Ram to the whole world. Right? When all this happened, when he killed Tadka and Subahu and sent Marish to that and message to Ravan, it became well known that now somebody has born who is very powerful, who can challenge Ravan. So he made it known to the whole world that look, the good bad days are going to be over soon. So that was his real intention of getting Ram to kill these demons, not just kill demons. It is more to let Ram be aware of this. He's as a powerful, strong human being. It is about the physical strength, just like we say, America is the most powerful nation on the world. You may agree or may not agree. They're most powerful in terms of physical strength, right? They've got all the weapons and they control the whole world if they want to, and things like that. Otherwise, the world would have never known that there's such a powerful prince or queen in Ayodhya. How would they know? They wouldn't know, right? So this was a message given to the whole world that here is this powerful person. Second was, the reason was, which is linked with that way, he also gave a practical lesson to show his power. See, with that, one is theory, other is practical. So when he went to school, to Guru Vasisht, he got all lessons in theory. Now, Guruji taught him theory of all that and maybe some lessons while theory. But it was not experimented in real life. This was a real life experience. So he wanted to expose him that what is the life like? Life is not just being in the palace. Life is outside. So Ram and Lakshman got that experience of real life. The real life is this. Such demons are there, such forests are there. Life is not full of pleasures and goody things. So these are two major reasons that Vishwamitra thought that I need to bring them, because eventually they got to do a much bigger job, which is to kill Rama. That's why he's taken birth in form of human form. But that has to be done step by step. So let me do this first, and then we'll do the rest. Okay, so we will stop at that. Watch the YouTube video, send me your comments or any question I've send me that. And Ramji willing, I will see you in another 2 weeks, right? Okay. Okay, Jai Shri Ram, and wish you a very happy day.